Hello there, everyone. Today I'm commentating on Torpedo League Super Formula Season 2, Round 5, the British Grand Prix at Brands Hatch. So to be clear, that is the full layout, the Brands Hatch GP layout, not the Brands Hatch Indy layout. But yeah, let's hop right into it. I will be testing my my microphone in a second, just to make sure it's working. Let's see if I can get it to open up. Okay, and testing. All right, looks good. Yeah, so like I said, we're at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. It's set to be a good race, I think. So, we have F1 Murik YT on pole, followed by Bunnies 9999, TM Ducky, Yarnell, Wolfbane 77, ASDF Kimmy, Smilsy, and Elmery. So, as we waiting for the lights to go out, they will be going out momentarily. We can hear the revs rising. It's lights out and we are underway for the British Grand Prix here in Brands Hatch. It's a good start for F1 Murik. TM Ducky's going for it on Bunnies into turn 1, Paddock Hill Bend. He's by. Ooh, he's gonna fight it. He's gonna fight back those Bunnies. He goes wide. As Wolfbane stuck it up the inside of the two of them, but Wolfbane has to back out. It's gonna cost him a position to Yarnell, actually. Benelux driver making up some positions on the first lap. Down at the back, Kimmy has made a mistake, but we've got F1 Murik up at front there, followed by Bunnies. Oh, TM Ducky's going to try and make a move on him. Bit of contact there, bit of touching the grass. Come up to this very quick right uphill right-hander. Sorry, couldn't. Oh, that's Bunnies off the track, and that's Smilsy way off the track. So Smilsy losing some ground there. As I said last week, he is part of Ducky Racing. Last week he was using the AlphaTauri livery. He didn't have this livery yet. He does have it now, though, and he's driving it now, representing the Ducky Racing team in the colors. Meanwhile, independent team driver Asdaf Kimmy is in 6th, right in front of him. So it's a close fight here between Ducky and Bunnies, but F1 Murik is really pulling away. Oh, is it going to be a move down the inside of Drew? It's for TM Ducky. Bunnies goes for the switchback, can't quite make it though. It's TM Ducky through into P2. It's Yarnell's going to go after him now. Bunnies compromised by that move from TM Ducky. Up the inside goes Yarnell. Can't quite stick it yet. Looked like that's Wolfbane struggling in the background a little bit. Bunnies is properly ahead of Yarnell now though. Oh, that looked like Yarnell was going to go for it. Hasn't yet though. Elmery is behind. Oh, is that Smilsy's trying to go for it on Kimmy. It's like Elmery was cutting that corner a little. Gets himself a penalty for it. That's Bunnies well off track. Puts him down to P4, unfortunately. Yarnell takes P3. F1 Murik, ooh, goes quite, nearly spins. That's going to put Ducky right on the back of him. Ducky, let's ride on board with him for a moment as he tries to catch up to F1 Murik. Make an overtake yet. Murik looks like he's already pulling out again, though. Canada Man, hello Junior. I see you in the comments. So further back, we've got a three-way battle between Smilzy, Kimmy, and Elmery, and I'm going to take this as a chance to set this stuff up properly. So, Smilzy's going to go for it on Elmery, down the inside, forces Elmery off a little. Oh, he's going to give back the position, though. Very sportsmanlike driving from Smilzy there. I do applaud that, honestly. That's very, very sportsmanlike from him, just giving the position back because it feels like he's at fault. Meanwhile, though, starting lap 4 is F1 Newark. That's Ducky, Yarnall, Bunnies, and Wolfman. Behind is ASDF Kimmy, followed by Smilzy and Elmery. Looks like Smilzy's gotten past Elmery. Elmery? Yeah, he looks alright. Just bad angle, making it get used going slowly. Yeah. Okay, so F1 Newark is going faster. Is going purple right now, but Team Ducky has the fastest lap at 107.256 right now. Yarnall's in third. He'll be looking to close in on him. The Nexus Esports driver, Bunny, is the only driver to have made it. Sorry, that's not how you say that. The Nexus Esports driver, his teammate, hasn't shown up to the past couple races since DeBaby F1 left the league after Monza, after lagging out a couple times, and that's Wolfbane and Bunnies going off track. Wolfbane just following his line perfectly. Kimmy nearly going off track. Smilzy throws up some dust too. Elmery's, well, Elmery looks like he's lagged out. That's very unfortunate. As that unfortunately switches us over to F1 Newark now. He is in first, still leading from Team Ducky, who has not been able to catch him since that mistake a couple laps back at turn 1, aka Patakill Bend. I did at one point know the name to all of these corners. I don't anymore. I just know turn 1 is Patakill Bend, turn 2 is Bridge, I think turn 3 is Graham Hill Bend. Moss corner might be a corner a bit further back. But yeah, with Elmery's lagging out, we now have Smilzy in last, 7th, 6th is Kimmy. We'll be looking to catch up to Wolfbane and Bunnies, the Canadian, holding up Wolfbane a little bit. Wolfbane seemingly happy to just sit behind, very close behind actually. A lot of overtake left. So Ducky has used up a lot of his overtake, Team Ducky that is. Kimmy's used up a decent amount, and Smilzy's used up a bit too. But Bunnies, F1 Newark, Yarnall, Bunnies, and Wolfbane especially being quite concerned with their OPS system. So nobody with the red lights yet. Ducky seemingly having used the most, using a bit right there. Still has a green light up, which is good for him. He didn't want to be running out so early in the race. But speaking of which, Ducky does still have the fastest lap of the race over F1 Newark, so we see he does have the pace to catch up to F1 Newark, but the question is, will he successfully do that? It won't if he keeps touching the grass like that. Meanwhile, F1 Newark's teammate, Yarnall, in third, will be looking to catch up to him, and that's Bunnies with the penalty. So, Bunnies will now be coming under pressure from Wolfbane. Oh, it's Wolfbane sends it down the inside, actually. Looked like Bunnies wasn't fighting him too hard there, but he may have made a mistake. So that puts Wolfbane up into P4. Wolfbane, of course, won the first race of the season, the Pacific Grand Prix at Suzuka, as Bunnies touches the grass there. He needs to try and keep it on track a bit, and needs to serve this penalty too. Or else the Aston Martin driver, Kimmy, will catch him. Of course, the Aston Martin team being the independent team this season. Yeah, so unfortunately, doesn't show gaps here, but it's looking like a pretty comfortable gap from Morik back to Ducky. Yarno touches the grass a bit there. We've been seeing a lot of drivers touch the grass there. I believe the corner Smilsy just did right back there is Moss Corner, something like that. Named, of course, after the late Sterling Moss. Rest in peace. But, yeah, Super Formula, not really accustomed to driving at Brands Hatch in real life. This is a narrow circuit, and of course Super Formula is in real life a Japanese, Super Formula is of course a Japanese racing series, so they only race in Japan in real life. But Torpedo League Super Formula loves to race all around the world. This season we're going to, excluding preseason testing, we're going to 10 different circuits in 8 different countries of the world. For the Pacific Grand Prix, which has of course already happened, the Italian Grand Prix also having happened. What was that? Bunny spins! Bunny spins! So good 360 to get it back going, but that'll cost him a lot of time and a position to Kimi. So a short 360 there for the Nexus Esports driver is not going to help him in his quest to catch back up to Wolfbane and company. So on the Super Softs is F1 Morik out in front, managing his tires very well, with less wear than TM Ducky on the softs. Yarno on the Super Softs is a bit more wear. Wolfbane managing his tires extremely well on the softs. Kimi not too bad on his either. Bonnie's just ripping those tires to shreds, actually. Smilsy not much better, but certainly noticeably better. Well, okay, no, I take that back. He's much better on it. Yeah, he's much better on his tires, Smilsy. Smilsy's also on the softs, so fair enough. But yeah, oh, that's Ducky off. That's Ducky off. He'll be losing some time to Morik with that. Morik hits the last corner now. Only now does Ducky hit the last corner. Yarnell in third hits it now. So I'd say it's a smaller gap between Yarnell and Ducky than it is Ducky and Morik now. But that being said, an even smaller gap is Kimi to Wolfbane. Kimi has massively caught up to the FDA driver. FDA Mission Winnow driver. The supposed Argentinian, although we know he's actually Uruguayan, that's just something the game is calling him, is Argentinian. The Uruguayan catching up to the Brit in the red and green cars, close together. Of course, in F1, actually, it looks like Yarno's made a mistake, because it looks like these two have caught up to him quite a bit. So we are on lap 10 of this Grand Prix. F1 Morik coming up to the last corner now. Quite a very comfortable distance to Ducky as Wolfbane earns himself a penalty and then runs wide. Kimi, though, runs wider. Yeah, so Ducky in second still has the fastest lap from the looks of it. Smilsy just comfortably cruising along back here on his soft compound tires. Bunnies will be wanting to pit soon. Is that... Yarnell's made a mistake. Yarnell's crashed at the exit of turn 1. That's a massive mistake from Yarnell, dropping him down from 3rd to 6th. The Benelux driver is just... Oh wow, his weekend's just gone to shambles. Didn't get any points from qualifying, having qualified, I think, 6th, possibly. And now back down to 6th after a stunning start, getting him up into 3rd on the opening few laps. Everything's gone wrong for the Belgian. On his super soft, he's worn out his tires a lot. He's very similar on tire wear now to Bunnies. And that's not an example you want to be following. Canadian, not going great for him in terms of tires. Not much worse, not much better for Yarnell. So they'll be pitting soon, presumably. F1 Morik, the Benelux teammate, throws up a bit of dust at the exit of turn 1. Didn't spin, though. love to go back and watch that at some point. Might be able to catch that, maybe have a highlights of the race for the YouTube account. YouTube account. Well, that maybe, but I meant the Instagram account. Yeah, F1 Morik, nearly halfway through this race now. Leads Ducky comfortably, who has a very sizable gap to Wolfbane. Kimi, pressuring Wolfbane actually. And given Kimi's on his super soft tires compared to Wolfbane's softs, Kimi's really doing good too. He's doing really well on his tires. Of course, the front left is the tire that takes the biggest beating around this track. It's a very abrasive track on that tire. But yeah, and then looking at overtake actually. Ducky, okay, so F1 Morik has barely used any. Ducky is at 50% as Bunnies does pit. Wolfbane has used essentially none at all, which is, wow, he's in third with barely any overtake used. Good for him, that's very good. Significantly more than Ducky, who's usually burning his out pretty quickly. Kimi in fourth has a little bit under half. Yarnall's got probably about 2/3 there. Smilsy, who of course is ahead of Bunnies as it stands, but with Bunnies having taken his pit stop, he won't be for long, presumably. With less than a quarter used, and Bunnies has used even less. That was a bit of a moment from F1 Morik. He looks okay though. Love this camera angle going into turn 1. It's a great view of the cars. Yarnall, let's wait and see if he decides to pit this lap. He does indeed. It's a bit of a late call, but he does decide to pit. Benelux Screw getting ready for him. Gonna change his tires in a second. Smilsy, not yet pitting. Smilsy is in fifth. Bunnies. Ooh, Bunnies is gonna be behind Yarnall as he comes out. So that is a change in order through the pit stops. The overcut has worked for Yarnall. Belgian, though, getting pretty loose. Ooh, Belgian struggling with these new tires, the new softs. Bunny's not making the same mistake he made last week, where he accidentally selected the super softs again after starting on the super softs. He is now on the softs, though. This time around, he's gotten it right. He'll be hunting down the Belgian Yarnall, though, who will be hoping not to have to battle Smilsy, hoping that Smilsy pits soon. Nobody else has pitted yet. We are past the halfway mark in this race. We've got a battle of 3 here. We've got TM Ducky from Ducky Racing, Wolfbane from FDA Mission Winnow, followed by Aston Martin's ASDF Kimi. ASDF Kimi. However you want to say it. ASDF Kimi. In fourth, the Smilsy does pit now. Presumably, yep, that's Bunnies and Yarnall all ahead of him now. The two drivers from North America and Europe, Canada and Belgium, Nexus and Benelux, both on fresh softs. Bunnies' softs are a couple laps older, I believe, though. Yeah, they should be at least. But yeah. Oh, and that's TM Ducky is in the pits now. TM Ducky has entered the pits. Yarnall is far enough behind that Ducky should have a very, very comfortable gap to him as he comes out. He does, and he comes out onto the super softs. He does have a 5/10 time penalty though now. So he's avoided fighting with Wolfbane and Kimi too much though, which will be good for him. F1 work, very comfortable out in front. As long as he doesn't make any large mistakes, I'd say F1 work has this race under control and probably is first in the bag. But he does need to be careful, diligent, as my friend Kyle might like to say, diligent and careful that he does not screw up. Yeah. Diligence is actually a massive part of racing. You want to be diligent, careful, but you also want to be confident, and oh, that's Kimi off the track. That won't help his confidence. He manages to keep pretty close to Wolfbane, but Kimi's pitting now. Kimi, the Aston Martin driver, the independent team is in the pits, and that looks an awful lot like the next esports. Oh, Jarl's made a mistake, and Bunnies is ahead now. So Bunnies gets Jarl off of a mistake, same way Kimi got Bunnies earlier. Although it doesn't look like Jarl did a whole 360 this time. So the Canadian will be hoping to pull away. Nexus Esports driver hoping to pull away from the Benelux Esports driver. Of course, these two teams, first and second in the teams championships, and second and third in the drivers championships. So every time Bunny beats Jarl, it's pretty good for him, as he goes actually purple on this lap so far. Wonder if that'll stay, as he does touch the grass a little bit there. F1 Mork is now into the pits, going from the super softs, presumably to the softs. Yeah, that's it. He switched to softs, as Wolfbane does the opposite, switching from softs to super softs. Which does mean now that every driver has pitted, as Kimi's actually jumped Wolfbane. Kimi is in the podium positions now, with only TM Ducky separating him in first. Although, well, actually, I say that, the other thing separating him in first is a massive gap. Unfortunately not able to see the gaps, but a pretty significant gap, as you can just see on the mini-map, and just, yeah. But Wolfbane will be looking to put pressure on the Uruguayan now. Snillsy, down in 7th, not the drive he wanted. He had a brilliant drive at Interlagos last week on his debut weekend, taking P2 from Wolfbane at the last moment, through a penalty for Wolfbane. Jarl with the 2/10 time penalty, looking to gain on Bunnies, but Bunnies not pulling out a large gap, but undoubtedly pulling out a bit of a gap. Wolfbane in 4th, hunting down the Aston Martin of Aston Kimi. TM Ducky exits Druids as Kimi and Wolfbane enter it. It's not the best for TM Ducky, given how much earlier he pitted compared to the two of them. It's not bad. So the closest battle on track as it stands, Kimi and Wolfbane. Jarl's falling a little bit further back as we speak from Bunnies. Smilsy even further back, unfortunately, with a recently having set a personal best of 107.791. Can't see Jarl's best lap time so far, though he is improving on it as it stands. Bunnies recently having set... Oh, and that's Bunnies off. Bunnies is off. Jarl gets the move on him. So Bunnies having profited off of a mistake from Jarl, getting by him, and now it's the other way around, as Jarl profits off of a mistake from Bunnies to get by him. In similar sections of the track as well. As Wolfbane's going down the inside of Kimi with the red light on his car now, meaning he does not have as much overtake left as he would like, as he's going to send it up the inside, thinks better of it. Speaking of overtake lights, looks like Ducky's getting close to red, I'd say, probably. He's not there yet. Kimi is there. I'm wondering if the way this game will do it is that if you have a quarter or less overtake left, OTS I should say, if you have a quarter or less OTS left, as they call it in actual Super Formula, then the light will go red. In actual Super Formula, it's if you have 20 or less seconds left. Speaking of overtake though, Bunnies will be of course looking to get back past Yarnell for P5, and he has much more overtake to use to try and do that. Smilsy with the 3/10 time penalty. Not optimal. As F1 works, that's the fastest lap of the race on lap 20, 106.703. So the Dutchman absolutely dominating this race. He hasn't dominated every race, though. Yarnell took victory at the Italian Grand Prix, just a little bit over Bunnies, who, speaking of which, has just caught right back up to him. We've seen some good battles between these two. Last week at Interlagos in Brazil for the Brazilian Grand Prix, Bunnies pulled an overtake on Yarnell. And the Porsche driver, C1, who unfortunately isn't driving today, pulled a double overtake on them in the closing stages of the race. There's no one to make a double overtake this time, but Bunnies is looking very keen to get an overtake on the Belgian up ahead of them. Both of them flat out through this section. Well, not the entire section, but just that little bit there. Kimi seems to be falling right off the back of Wolfbane. Ooh, actually Kimi spins. That's a big crash for Kimi. We saw Yarnell do that earlier. Yarnell and Bunnies, though, far enough back that they won't be getting the position from this as it looks. Although they're going to be a lot closer. It's certainly a little stroke of hope for the two of them, seeing the Aston Martin driver slow up ahead. Could it help motivate Yarnell to defend and pull away from Bunnies? Could it motivate Bunnies to send something on Yarnell? We shall see. There's only about 5 laps left, so any moves that are going to get done need to be done soon. Yeah, this could turn out to be a good battle between the two. It looks like Ducky is being caught by Wolfbane. It also looks like Ducky's caught up to F1 Murakti a bit. Although I can't say he's caught up a ton. It doesn't look like he's within striking distance. Definitely not, but it's a lot closer now. But moving back to this battle, we've seen a few battles throughout the season between Bunnies 9999 and Yarnell. Of course, Belgian Benelux driver and the Canadian Nexus driver. Both trying to help their teams in the team's championship. Both trying to help themselves in the drivers' championship. And Wolfbane using up a lot more of his OTS now. Trying to catch up to TM Ducky. I wonder if he'll be able to catch up to him by the end. We've only got lap 24, 25, 26, and 27 left. So that's 4 laps for him to catch and pass him. Bunnies is right back on the back of Yarnell though, and Yarnell's been saving up OTS now, so both of these guys have lots of OTS left. Bunnies has the most OTS left of anyone in the field though. Second place in that is probably F1 Warrior, but pretty close with Yarnell. Is that going to be up the inside of turn 1? It is, as Yarnell makes a mistake. Bunnies sees the mistake before it's even properly happened. He sees him starting to go wide, and before he's even in the gravel, tries to send it. And he does exactly that, and he's got P5 now. Moving back up the field though, back up for P2, getting ever closer, but have to wonder, will it be an overtake from Wolfbane by the end, or will it be Ducky managing to hold out in P2? We've seen both of these drivers being very, very quick at different points in this season. F1 Murik being quick throughout the entire season, though. Still well out in first. As Bunnies has a 5/10 time penalty. That could be a bit damaging in his fight with Yarnall, but he should be able to serve it before the end of the race. As Yarnall nearly spins there. Big moment from Yarnall. Well done to him for saving it, though. Actually, it looks like Bunnies went a bit wide at turn 1. He's finishing serving his penalty through Druids. Yarnall's really struggling with his tires right now. And for once, actually. Well. Bunny's front tires are better than Yarnall's, but his rear tires are worse, so I don't know if I can say his tire management is for once better than someone else in the field, or if it's still the worst as usual. Don't worry, I can insult him like that, because he told me I can. Jokingly. You know what? Never mind. But the point is, he's been struggling with tire wear a lot recently, and is finally not the person who's got the worst tire wear, even though he did before Yarnall. So, yeah, good for him for finally getting his tires under control. Wait, what? When did Wolfbane get Ducky? Wolfbane got Ducky. I think Ducky must have made a mistake. Wolfbane's driven by him. Really sorry for missing that. Shouldn't have been focusing on Bunnies and Yarnall so much. But, yeah, we've got a change in order in the top two. Wolfbane takes P2. Ducky demoted down to P3. Kimmy is down in P4. Pretty lonely on track. Faster than Bunnies and Yarnall. Yarnall, who is really all over the place as it stands. But Kimmy much faster than the two of them, but slower than Ducky and Wolfbane. We are on the final lap now, as Kimmy is off in the second last corner, and too detrimental for him. That is the one nice thing about being so alone in the pack, is you can just afford to make those mistakes a bit. Obviously you won't want to make them too much. There's no certainty he'll be able to keep this position, but he'll try to, and as it stands, it looks like he'll be able to. Moving back up in front of the grid, though, F1 Murik, coming through the last sector, second last sector now, 1.1 seconds down on his fastest lap, using OTS, as he sprints down to the final corner. F1 Murik has dominated this race, lights to flag. He weaves across the line as he wins the British Grand Prix for Benelux Esports in round 5 of this season of Torpedo League Super Formula. Wolfbane takes P2 for FDA Mission Winnow. TM Ducky serves his penalty before crossing the line. TM Ducky takes P3 for Ducky Racing. Kimmy is well off the track. Won't be too bad for him. Bunnies is too far back to do anything about it. Kimmy, Asdif Kimmy, takes P4 for the independent team, Aston Martin. Bunnies for Nexus Esports, not the race he was hoping for after qualifying P2, but still manages P5. Not a bad result for the Canadian. Yarnall now crosses the line in P6. Smilsy, the second Ducky Racing driver, weaves a bit as he crosses the line and takes P7. Unfortunately, this won't show the whole congratulations F1 Murik YT thing, but congratulations to F1 Murik. Well done on the lights to flag domination. That is all for today. Tomorrow, though, will be Torpedo League F1 and Torpedo League's F2's playoff race to find which 5 of the 10 drivers in this playoff race will be making it up to F1 and which 5 will be going down to F2, although it will be only 9 drivers tomorrow. But yeah, that's that. We've Torpedo League Super Formulas round 5 is over. Thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you to Junior for commenting Canada Man, I guess. Thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in tomorrow's playoff race.